In this video, I'm going to teach you a super simple strategy that caught 60 points on ES for me today. So without getting into too complex of information and keeping it simple, at least for this video, we're gonna stick to the SPY chart that has my levels already drawn on it. I do have the daily gap that I think a few days ago, we put on the chart, and it's still valid in my opinion. But we have the most recent hourly supply here. We have the price target that is right here down at 742.38, and that was the main setup ahead for the day. So as we can see, right off the open, right here, this is the opening candle at 9:30. We pump up right above these supply zones. There's two supply zones, an older one and also the most recent one. And as we see, the following candle, we flush right below it. We close on the 5 minute below it. However, my main issue here was that we closed almost a dollar and a half below the supply zone. So my stop loss would have been on the other side of the supply zone, which is quite the big stop loss. So I didn't enter right away. So as mentioned, we had a pretty big stop loss here. Now the other issue is that I do look at the risk to reward ratio, and just like our risk was at least a dollar and a half, possibly a little more, the reward here to the first PT, first price target, was about $2. So it is like a 1-to-1 at most. I'm not saying that's bad. I know a lot of traders actually that like trading those 1-to-1 ratios. Um, Personally, just not my style. I prefer the 1-to-2, 1-to-3 at a minimum. So I just decided that I'm either gonna wait for a retracement back up closer to the supply zone to get a better entry, or if it just flushes straight down to the price target, trade is gone and I'm gonna move on. Tomorrow is a new day. Well, lucky for me, if we go one candle forward, we get the retracement. Now, as soon as we made this move up, this is where I entered. As you can see here, I'm switching to my broker. This candle, you see the little red arrow. This was my entry. So as soon as we spiked back up and got close enough to supply, the risk to reward made sense. I entered market and got in my trade. Now, invalidation would have been a 5 minute stop, 5 minute close on the other side above the supply on SPY. So basically I entered market and I just let it work out, waited for 5 minute close. Back to SPY, this is where I entered, waited patiently, technically in small profit, no close above, trade is not invalidated, haven't trimmed either. On this move down, we almost hit our price targets. I did see this reaction here with some higher volume and this wick coming in. So I admit I took my first trim right here. As you can see, right here. This is exactly where I took my trim on this candle. So this is the first trim. Now I had, full disclosure, I had 3 MES contracts. I did trade small today. It's the last day of the week. Well, tomorrow is half day, but it's the last day of the week. I didn't want to risk too much money today, so I took only 3 MES contracts. I trimmed 2 here for 25 points each contract. Now at this point, my trade management got super easy because I locked up about 50 points of realized profit. I had one runner left, and I knew that even if I let that runner go to complete invalidation, meaning a 5 minute close right above the supply zone, my stop loss is going to be anywhere between 10 to 12 points, which, yeah, sucks, but it means that I'm going to win 50 and lose about 10, so this is still a very nice green trade. Now, what's the trade-off? The trade-off for me is to have a runner that's going to run all the way down to final price target, which happened. So in a sense, I'm taking my runner, I'm taking my unrealized profit. I know I have a green trade regardless, and I'm saying I'm gonna risk 10 to 12 to 15 points on this one runner to possibly catch 50, 60, 70 points on it and have exposure for the rest of the move. And if you ask me, more importantly, just to have exposure to my bias, because my bias was downside and I wanted to have some sort of exposure and I was willing to be wrong on it. So as we see here, this is where I took my trim. I held one contract. We were below the EMAs the entire time. I held it from around 8:40 my time. I'm on mountain time, so 10:40 market time, all the way to around 12:40 market time. So I held it this entire time. This is where I took my final profit at 75.11 from 75.71. So 60 points on that runner. Not bad if you ask me. How did it look like on SPY? Now look, if we look at SPY right now to actually see how the trade worked out in terms of price targets and whatnot. So this is where I took the trim. We went with the move down. I held the entire time as I showed you, and we hit final price target right here. As soon as we hit final price target, I gave it one more 5-minute candle. I saw that we had some buyers coming in, and that's when I took my profit. Could it go lower? Yes, and actually it did. It did go a little bit lower. I think another like 20 points or so, which is obviously not bad at all for ES. At the same time, my price targets hit. So if my price targets hit, I'm good. I caught 60 points on ES. I'll take that with a risk of about 10. So call it 5 to 6R on that runner. I'll definitely take it. At that point, it wasn't really worth it for me to possibly risk seeing that amazing R value just being gone because final price target hit and we bounced up. So I took my profit and enjoyed the rest of my day. Now, if you guys have any questions about my trade selection, the management, you have questions about why I decided to trim at certain points and something is not clear about my management, about my system, about my bias, anything whatsoever, I'm actually very curious to see what questions you have. So feel free to leave it here in the comments. And if you did like this video, I would appreciate a like and a follow, and I'll try to share as much knowledge as I can, really, to help everyone. So thank you guys, and I'll see you on the next video.